It's great. Welcome back, Padawans, finally, to the Jedi Gaming Academy channel. I am so happy to be back after what seems like an eternity. It seems like an eternity. I feel like I got lost while I was doing the Kessel Run. But you know what? We are back in action. We're back here on the channel. And why are we back? Why are we here today? It's to talk about what you already know. Star Wars Outlaws, baby. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you this. Let me just break it down. You guys know there's been Star Wars games coming out, obviously, throughout the years. Unfortunately, majority of them from EA. This is the first game that we're getting where EA has no hands on it. This is the first game coming out from that contract that they had, that 10-year-long exclusivity deal that they did with Star Wars. And I am so happy that Disney saw what they were doing and saw that, you know what, maybe we can push these games, push this IP to some other developers just to kind of see what everybody else can do. And that was the best decision they made. The best one, because now we are able to play Star Wars Outlaws from Ubisoft. And let me tell you, let me break it down, okay? So we're going to go through this. We're going to do a few different things, our discussion points. I'm going to talk about my initial reaction to it, my reaction to it a little bit further into the game, you know, a few hours in, because it did change. It changed pretty dramatically. And I want to talk about the things that I am really, really just loving about the game, all right? But initially, my first reaction that I saw when I, booted the game up for the first time, it was kind of slow paced, you know what I mean? I didn't realize that we were going to be starting on Canto Bight. That's where K-Bess was born. I didn't realize that, but it did have that slower, methodical pace, and it's because there's a lot of systems here. Obviously, a few hours in, I now understand that, but when you're starting the game, it was a lot. There was a lot of things that the game was throwing at you, a lot of things that it's trying to get you to understand so that you can be a good smuggler, right? But as the game progressed, those again started to fall to the wayside as these systems started to kind of get drilled into my brain, into my memory. One thing in particular that I noticed that wasn't as forthright as I thought it should have been was just kind of traversal, right? So this game has a lot of platforming elements to it, and there's a lot of things that you're going to have to do to get to your next destination. And one of them is using not a zip line. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of is a zip line, but you have like a hook with a rope, and you're going to have to throw it, and that's going to allow Kay to swing over, to the next path. And I was having trouble seeing these different points of interest whenever the time arose. And there are other things as well, like maybe hand-holding sections where those actually are. And again, it's more of a learning what this game and how their design of this game is. And then it just started kind of falling into place. But that initial hour or so, I was getting stuck a lot. And I was getting really kind of frustrated because it didn't seem like I should be getting stuck at this point, but I was. So that's why I'm kind of scratching my head, what am I supposed to be doing here? And then a good tool that you can have is you use Nick's, you use his sensibility, right? So that's your little companion that he's always with you. And honestly, a huge part of this game. And it's really, I use him to go and attack two guards, right? There's two guards here. He goes, attacks one. I go take out that one and then go take the other one out. Because he can't kill the guards, all right? You got to do that last blow. I kind of stumbled a little bit. You got to do that last blow, all right? So you got to make sure you're getting over there before he stops his attack. But those kind of systems, you have to utilize them, as well as his senses. It really does come into play when there are, you're in a confined area and you may not be able to, like I was, not see the path forward or not see where you're supposed to be going. That's when you use Nix's sense, and you're able to unlock a lot of information. So, for instance, in this situation, when you use his sense, it will highlight the different things that you're supposed to be using to traverse, right? Another aspect of it is if I need to get a door open, it's not opening. Usually there's a keypad at the right to the left of it. If that's not working, then you have to find a power generator. Sometimes they're not easily, in right next to the door. So you're going to have to use a sense, and then it kind of gives you a trail so that you can go and see where this door where this generator is, so you can open the door and continue your quest. Now, again, you got to use these things. You have to, because if you don't, that's when you're going to get trumped up. Now, the other thing that did I say trumped up? That's weird. I don't know why I said that. But the other thing and the other aspect of this is that you want to, again, build that muscle memory. So yes, you can use Nyx, but after a while, you're going to start to see oh, that's something I can climb it. Okay, that's something I can swing across. Or you come to a chasm and you're like, well, I obviously can't jump this far, so there's got to be something up here. Again, muscle memory. So those things fell to the wayside as I started playing more and more. But one aspect and one thing that some people might say, but it also has been a huge, not a huge issue, but it's been a talking point in the industry, which is those orange handholds in a world where it doesn't look like you need to have orange handholds on a mountainside. You know what I mean? But that is the industry. That's the studio's way, or the developers, of showing us where we're supposed to go in a visual way. I believe that Star Wars Outlaws is trying to make this game feel the most like the movies, which, I mean, they've already gone on record in saying that, but you can see that they've put their mouth, or their money where their mouth is, because the game does feel like that. So when you're climbing and you have to, do these different things, you're not going to have those really colorful markings on them, because they want you to feel like you're in the world. They want the world to feel real. There are going to be some things that are colored. Usually they are colored yellow, but it does fit into the world, but not everything is colored. It's like vents and metal stuff would be colored yellow, and they've just chosen that, they've chosen that color, just so that it's a visual cue, but also it's not everywhere. So you're going to have to figure out what the different things are that you can and not use. So another aspect that I really, really do love about this game is the openness of it. Okay, so let's just talk. Let's put a pause on this and let's talk about Starfield. All right, I'm not going to shit on Starfield. Okay, I love Starfield. However, Starfield was already, we knew about Starfield well before Star Wars Outlaws, obviously. Well before Star Wars Outlaws. But Star Wars Outlaws, they announced Star Wars Outlaws before the launch of Starfield. So, going into Starfield, I already knew that this game, Starfield, was going to be my stepping stone to Outlaws, okay? So I knew that. I knew that it was just going to kind of keep me tame until I can get what I really want, which is Star Wars Outlaws. And basically, I want to feel like I'm in a lived-in world, lived-in galaxy, and that is what Starfield did. They did make me feel like, oh, this is a real galaxy. Like, we are here, there's all kinds of other people, but there are issues with it. My biggest gripe with Starfield is that they do have way too many cutscenes. Way too many. It's immersion breaking in the biggest sense of the phrase. I don't like when, okay, let's just give you an example here. When you're getting on your ship, you get onto your ship. You have to press a button to get on the ship. Cuts to black. Now you're in your ship. Yay! Then you have to get to your cockpit. Once you get there, you have to take off. There's a cuts to black, cutscene of your ship taking off and flying away into space. Black screen. Now you're in space. Cool. Then you want to go to, you want to go to hyperspace. So you go to hyperspace, you let your ship load up, and then it goes, again, cutscene, hyperspace, cutscene. I say cutscene. It cuts to black, hyperspace, cuts to black again, and now you're in your next destination. In that amount of time, just to get from one part of the galaxy to the other, I'm seeing 6 to 7 black screens. That's unacceptable when you're trying to make a game that feels lived in, that you are a part of this universe. Doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. It takes you out every single time. And Outlaws doesn't do that, guys. It doesn't. The game, from start to finish, yes, there are cutscenes, but they're seamless cutscenes. Right from gameplay into cutscene, and then right from cutscene back out into gameplay. Even the ships, when you get onto your ship, you walk all the way into the cockpit, you say, I want to take off, the ship, it does do a little cutscene to get you into the ground, but it doesn't cut to black. All of this is real time, so cutscene, you're flying, and then, again, the camera goes behind the ship, and now you're not flying the ship out into the atmosphere, but it's on rails, and you are able to kind of sway it a little bit. Again, giving that player a little bit of agency while this situation is going on. They've got to load things in, right? They've got to load the space. They've got to load the planet that you're landing on whenever those two things are happening. So there's stuff that they have to do. And there is a video on, what was it? I think it's IGN. Yeah, IGN first, I think, because I think they were the ones who got it. So they discussed how that mechanic actually works. Them loading in the map that you're landing on, and why you have to go through the clouds and the atmosphere and whatnot. But it's a very technical way and a technical thing that's going on in the background, but you don't know that as the player. You just feel like you're flying out into space, and then bam, you're in space. The clouds dissipate, and now you are in space and you are flying. You're gone. You're going. Now, I have not gotten my hyperdrive up and ready, all right, guys? So I have not gotten off of Toshara. So that's the second planet that you get to visit. And Toshara is actually one of the planets that they created specifically for this game. And I love when they do that. So, like, again, with our last great Star Wars game, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor, both of those games have a character named, oh my gosh, Cal Kestis. Almost forgot my man's name. That is bad. Bad, Jelani. Anyway, Cal Kestis is a canon character now. He was never a character before, and now he is a canonical character inside of Star Wars. That's what I love about this new initiative in the Star Wars gaming ecosphere, right? Them creating worlds, creating characters that now become canon to the overall story of Star Wars. That is awesome. Toshara is one of those things. Toshara is not a planet, though. It's a moon that circles a planet. And it's crazy to think that this entire, we'll say world, right? But this entire thing is on a moon. But there's commerce, there's multiple markets, there's multiple cities in this one area here, on this moon. So I really, really do love that these developers are having that agency to be able to do something in the Star Wars universe and actually make something to go alongside the universe. Super, super cool. But Toshara is an awesome first little, get your feet wet area, right? Like, again, when I first got out into Toshara, I felt like it was a little jarring because, again, they're going for a filmic experience, right? They want you to feel like you are a part of a Star Wars movie, and I can say that they definitely are with the 2 black bars that they cut that are consistently on screen at all times. You can take that off if you want to, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We'll talk about accessibility here in a little bit, but I think you can take those off. But why would you? Why would you? It makes it feel so much more cinematic at every point in the game. I've never played a game that has consistent black bar. Actually, I may have. I think Order 1886, or 86? Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that game had the 2 black bars on it. Again, they were going for this similar thing. They were going for very cinematic. But the difference here is that this Star Wars is cinematic. It always has been. Obviously, it's derived from film. So the fact that we are now getting a Star Wars open world game, first of its kind. You can say Jedi Survivor was kind of open world, and I will give that to you, but it's not open world like this. And anybody who plays this and Jedi Survivor, we'll even say the latest one, you know they're night and day. This is an open world game, and I'm sorry, I'm not seeing these Ubisoft tropes that we've seen before. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, and we'll get back to Shara, but I'm on a tangent. I'm not seeing, like, the towers that you have to go. Yes, we do see some of them. I see tall grass. It is a stealth game after all. Not fully, but you have stealth missions and you have the ability to use stealth if you so choose. So they've got to have the tall grass. That's a Ubisoft staple. I get it. But the main staples that everybody gripes about, that we all have issues with, I'm not seeing that. You know what I mean? I'm not seeing a map that is just bombarded with icons. There are icons on the map, but they're tame. They're accessible. There are points of interest that you can go to. They've done a really good job with this. They've done a really, really good job, and I think they were trying to get away from that Ubisoft, model with this game specifically, because there are games that just came out. I mean, from this last publisher, or from this last the studio that they did, it was Avatar. They're the ones who made the Avatar game, the ones who did the Star Wars Outlaws game. Yet, Avatar had more of the Ubisoft tropes than this game does. So it seems like the developers really, really were trying to make this world something special, and I feel like they have. Again, I'm only a few hours in at this point. I'll say several hours in at this point. I've already met my droid sidekick. I literally just got to him, so I don't exactly remember his name. Is it ND5? It's something like that. Either way, so back to Toshara, and the traversal on it. When I first got into the open world area, it was a little jarring, like as I said, because it didn't have a lot of, telling me where to go. And again, that I think is a point that they wanted to do. They want you to experience this adventure at the same time that Kay is experiencing it. So she's never been to Tashara. So why would we need to have more knowledge about how to get around Tashara than what she has? You see what I'm saying? So you gotta just play the game and really just kind of figure out where you're going. The best thing that I figured, or that I found was the easiest to traverse in the open area, was following the roads and the paths that are there. If you go off the beaten path and try to get to an icon on your little HUD display at the top, you're not gonna get there. You know what I mean? Because it might say that it's that way, but then there's a mountain that you can't climb, you can't get around, and now you're jacked. Now you gotta go, and so you gotta go somewhere else. You gotta go back. You gotta backtrack. So it happened to me. So these are the things that I was like, man. Like, would we not have, like, I mean, this is an open world game, so why would we not have, like, the staple line to, if we say, okay, I want to go here, line on the ground so that we can know where to go, or at least not even fully on the ground, but like Forza Horizon does. They have it on the ground at all times if you want, but then you can turn it down to where it only does it around the curve. So then that way you just know how slow you need to go around the curve, but for the rest of the time it's not there. Could it be like that, And that's what I was kind of asking myself, because it definitely would have made me getting around a lot faster, 100%. But again, I think I know they're going for a filmic experience. Adding that stuff in there is going to take away from the Star Wars, from the adventure that you're on. And yes, it would make it easier. Yes, as a game, it would make it easier. But as a form of art, and as somebody who is trying to make a piece to go alongside the films, literally smack dab in between episode 5 and 6, you want to make it feel like the films. And that's what they've done. They've done it in spades. In spades, guys. So let me talk about some things that I really, really do love. I don't know why K-Vess has been getting shit online, but she is fantastic. I love her as a main character almost as much as I love Cal Kestis, maybe even a little bit more. Maybe. We're not there yet because I have to see here, but I love the dynamic between her and Nyx. I love that she is very much on her own, having to deal with these things and having to, find her way and navigate this, navigate being, being chased by bounties, having a bounty on her head. That you'll find that stuff out at the beginning of the game. But all of these different aspects of her, I'm really resonating with. She seems resourceful to me, at least, from how she's talking. She also seems like she's a little bit in over her head, and I'm excited to see that kind of change. And I'm excited to see maybe a character development where she has been in this criminal underworld for so long that now she doesn't kind of like teeter-totter or whatever, you know what I mean? Or kind of like beat around the bush. She's like directly right to the point and will tell you what's up, and then if not, then you're going to get blasted kind of thing. I want to see that progression, but I do like where we have her and where we start at here. Next character I love, Nyx. Obviously, it's my boy. Come on, man. I love Nyx. Nyx is so cool. And again, back to all of the gameplay mechanics that Nyx has. You can use him to attack. You can use him to distract. So attacking, I've already told you how that comes into gameplay and how I use it pretty much all the time. But then there is the distract, which I haven't used often, but the one time that I did, it actually was really, really good. I was hanging on the side of a cliff, and I could see a stormtrooper kind of just pacing around, doing his watch. And I said, you know what, Nyx, go distract him. I thought he was just going to distract him where he was at. No, he climbed up right next to me and then pretended to die. And then the guy came over to see what was up. Bam! Got him. I was like, yo, I didn't know you were going to bring him to me to distract him. That's awesome. So that is one that I actually want to start using more, just to see if it works like that in every capacity, because it might not. You know what I mean? It might have been that way because I was hanging there, but I have a feeling that it is going to bring the enemy to me. That way I can handle the situation. You know what I mean? But then he can also open up doors for you. So if you're looking, and again, remember what I said about the senses, you're going to want to use those senses so that you can see what is actually going on. You know what I mean? Where you need to go next. And sometimes you can't get to the part that you actually need to do. Nyx is the only one who can do that. So when you use his sense, you'll see like a keypad inside of a door that you, or inside of a room that you can't access. But Nyx can, because he's tiny and he can fit into small places. So he'll go and get that thing turned on. Bam, you're good to go. He can also go and fetch things for you. So I kind of use that in the grand scheme of things. That one's not one that I use all the time, because usually I'm like right next to the thing. I'm like, oh, I'll just pick it up. But there are some times where, you know, if I'm in a mission and I'm trying not to be quiet, or trying to be quiet, and I'm like, hey man, go get that thing over there, because I don't feel like having to go and make a path that way if I'm already trying to be quiet and try to be stealthy. You know what I mean? So these are different aspects that he has where the gameplay comes into effect, and his mechanic is very much something that needs to be utilized throughout the game. Like if you're trying to play this game without using Nyx, I mean, you more than likely can, but it's going to be a lot harder of a time for you, and that's not how they kind of, you know, created this game to be. The other thing, and the biggest thing for me personally, that I realized, oh, okay, I definitely have to do this. Playing Sabacc, which, let's put a pause. Because that's another thing that I love in this game, is Sabacc. Which is crazy, because I am notorious for hating card games in my video games. I didn't sit down to play a card game when I'm trying to go on an epic adventure, okay? I don't. It's not what I want to do. However, as a resident Star Wars nerd, you give me the opportunity to play this game, which they have real Sabacc in real life, so the opportunity was always there, let's be honest. But you give me the opportunity to play the game that Han Solo played against Lando Calrissian to win the Millennium Falcon. Not just them either. Everybody across the galaxy is playing Sabacc. And you give me the opportunity to, you know I'm going to. You know I gotta step up. And then not only step up, I gotta figure out how to play the game. I played that dang game. So I was on a mission. I was going, an important mission for one of the big crime syndicates. I think it was Gorak. He wanted me to go find somebody who is trying to start a coup. So as I'm going to the market to go see what I can find, I go start walking. Hang on, we're gonna do this. I start walking, I'm just like, Sabacc. I got time. And then I go and sit down so that I can play Sabacc. I played that game round after round after round after round. I think I played it 5 times. The 5th time I won. And I've won, what? I won that one. And then I think I went to, because there's another mission that you have to play Sabacc, and I won that one as well. So, right after this, I believe I'm going to be going and playing another Sabacc game. So, you could say that I am a Sabacc lover now. But anyway, the game is awesome. But my tangent over. You have to use Nyx. You have to use him. It tells you in the game that you can use him to spy on the other players. He can. There's a little mini game. There's a circle, and then you have to. There's a circle, and then you have to press triangle. I said it twice. You have to press triangle and right in the middle, so that way you can see what their cards are. Once you see what their cards are, that can kind of help you make the decision whether you want to draw or whether you want to stand on this turn. Okay, so that kind of, or it'll tell you, the hand I have is not the best hand compared to other people at the table. Maybe I need to draw so that I can try to get a better hand, or you're just drawing to make a matching set because you have to do that anyway. So those aspects of it really make me see, okay, Nyx is a huge part of this game. And not only is he a huge part of this game, he's an awesome, awesome little dude. You know what I mean? Awesome little side character, awesome little pet. I love Nyx, all right? I'm probably going to get him tattooed at some point. And also, I'll probably throw it on the screen somewhere, but Nyx, Kay has 2 tattoos. She's got a Nyx tattoo, and she's got a Constellation tattoo. I think old Jedi Master Ren knows what his next tattoo is going to be. Anyway, I absolutely love this game, guys. This game is everything that I wanted so far, okay? We've got to still play the game, right? We got to get through all of it. But from what I'm seeing and what I wanted from this game, it's delivering. And the only thing I have to say, and this is where I'm going to leave you guys on, is the hate that this game is getting is a little much. Can we agree on that, right? It's a little much because a lot of people are upset that this isn't your run-of-the-mill Star Wars game. It doesn't have a Jedi. It doesn't have the super high stakes of a Sith against Jedi battle, a lightsaber battle. Why aren't we doing these things? Like, I don't understand. That was already discussed at when they announced this game coming out. We have had a little over a year to contemplate that this game is not going to have a Jedi in it. And that's totally fine. Not every Star Wars game has to be about a Jedi. And in the grand scheme of things, aren't y'all not tired about Jedis right now? You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I would not have liked another Jedi game, or another game with a Jedi. But why not try something different? Why not be a smuggler in the Star Wars world? Because I'm telling you right now, this game feels Star Wars. It feels like it. Every aspect of it, it feels like I'm in that world when I play this game. I cannot say that about Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. Yes, we were there, but there's always, some parts are very linear, some parts are, again, you can't go wherever you want. And I will say this, the amount of population, that's the kicker. That's the thing that really sells this thing home. And the amount of conversations that are happening in the markets as you're just walking through and that you can listen to if you want or just keep on trucking. It's stuff like that that made Starfield feel really real. You know what I mean? And Star Wars Outlaws is doing that as well. But obviously, me being biased because I love Star Wars, it's hitting so much better for me than Starfield did. Obviously, then, too, with the actual aspects of it that are better than Starfield, which is no cutscenes and stuff like that. They've done a really, really good job with this game. So what I can say to you, ending thoughts, because we will be talking about this game more, but ending initial thoughts of this game, if you're a Star Wars fan, I don't even know why you don't have this right now. Unless, there's situations at hand. But if you're a Star Wars fan and you love games, you're already playing this game, all right? So I'm not talking to you. But the people who, if you like Star Wars or you like shooting games, you know what I mean, like that, you like open world games, you like stealth games, maybe do some research, see if this is something that you'd like to watch, because I'm telling you, play, because I'm telling you, this game has the sauce. It does. And I cannot wait to hit end on this recording and literally sit down, put that nav computer in the Trailblazer, and go to the next planet, because that's the only thing that I needed to do until I could go, and I wanted to do it before recording so I could say that, but I didn't, so I'm not saying it. Anyway, guys, I have been your host, Jedi Master Ren. It has been a pleasure to do this and come back. I don't know what the issue was. I'll be honest with you. I'll be straight up. I have no idea why it took me so long to get this out. But you know what? Stuff happens in life. But we're back, and we're going to be back week to week, baby, all right? So, without further ado, I have been your host, as I said, Jedi Master Ren, and I will see you next time in the halls of the Jedi Gaming Academy. May the Force be with you.